Greetings there people of YouTube, this is Essence of Thought here and I'm doing a video on morality. The video is divided into four main topics. The first, the development of morals, values and social norms. This is then followed by the biological and evolutional explanations for the creation of society, and the sociological and psychological explanations for the creation of society. Finally, we look at the reasons for social conflicts and wars. To understand what moral values are, we must first look at the definition. Moral values can often be defined as a principle decided upon by an individual on whether or not it is to be his or her moral code in their actions, words and thoughts. Then these moral values can be compared to other individuals and their moral values and be decided upon through the process of interaction which ones are least harmful and therefore more progressive. Moral values originate at their base source from social norms. Social norms are the ideas and actions which are seen by society to be okay, other actions being deviant in their eyes. These social norms are therefore highly subjective to the society it exists within. An example of this is the way in which it is a social norm in the Western world to wear clothing, whilst in other cultures this would be seen as odd or even peculiar. Such is often with the case with many remaining tribal people. The next step towards moral values lies with social values. Society works much in the same way as a living organism or an ant colony, seeking to grow and strengthen itself. To ensure this and its survival, society seeks to replicate behaviours which, at the time, it perceives to be favourable, and to stigmatise those which it perceives to be destructive. Good manners are social values as it acts to help citizens interact far better with one another, as one is enacting the pleasure senses within another, giving them a slight chemical high. If a person is nice whilst fulfilling their role within society, others are far more likely to do the same in their roles, ending with a spread which ripples through the entire structure of society, a real case of you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Destructive behaviours such as hate towards another segment of society, such as ethnic minorities or a group of people with different religious, political or sexual preferences to yours, are stigmatised as society advances. We see this happening more and more with increases in civil rights movements and educational programs that go forward to give equal rights. This is because it is seen by society at the moment to be more beneficial to its growth than hate. However, it is up to the individual on which social values to take up. This is often reliant upon the social norms they have been provided as a child and reared with. The primary agent of socialization is the family. This will have the strongest effect upon your social decisions. There are four other secondary agents of socialization acknowledged by sociologists and in their order of importance within our Western culture: education, peers, work, and finally religion. This is not to say that a person who is deprived of any of these secondary agents of socialization will end up having social difficulties, as we see with the furthering of secularization in the West, removing religion from formation of society's laws in order to speed up its growth and progression. Countries such as Sweden, along with other Scandinavian countries, act as evidence for this fact, boasting the greatest social advances, yet have the highest levels of secularism. It is important to note that a secularized state will not remove it totally, as aspects can be beneficial upon a personal level. The definition of secularism also instates that the government has no right to abolish religion. This is often a misconception thrown around by theists. The lack of power goes both ways. However, once a person of a religion breaks a law in society, they are accountable under such law, as crime, marriage and other similar aspects are all civil matters, not religious. The social values that a person decides to accept as their own then become their moral values. Moral values can only ever be by definition subjective in this manner. You do not need to consciously pick out and choose through every single moral, as your mind can do this for you. Empathic emotions also play a part in which sort of morals you do take. The stronger this is, the more likely you are to have the types of morals which are seen as humanitarian. One important study to look at is Jean Piaget's marble test, in which over time, children, before they had been religiously indoctrinated, were capable of forming their own rules and fairness in games involving marbles, developing in more and more advanced stages before they could comprehend why certain things were wrong and unfair. One of his explanations was that a child was unable to think of a different person having their own likes and dislikes, etc., so projected their own experiences and wishes upon another, and interacted using this manner, showing a level of innate empathy from an early age. He concluded, quote unquote, "To my mind, this research proves conclusively that humans are rule-creating animals and that God is not required as an explanation for either the marbles or of morality." His study contained high ecological validity, taking into consideration the environment. However, this meant it shared low internal validity, not being a laboratory experiment, something which would breach the code of ethics when involving a small child. This is the end of this segment of the Morality of the Godless. Please be sure to check out the other videos, the biological and evolutional explanations for the creation and the existence of society, the sociological and psychological explanations for the creation and existence of society, and lastly, the explanation for social conflicts and wars. Essence of Thought, out.